We'll give it a moment or two to go live, and then we'll say hello, good evening to everyone once it says it's live. So we should be live in the groups for any minute now, Robert. You should be seeing us active, I hope, in a moment. It says we're live, so good evening, welcome, guys. Had a small technical issue with our live stream tonight. So we're in the groups, we've got people in the Zoom meeting, and hopefully where this video is, in the description is a link to the Zoom meeting where you guys can get in. I'll get Robert to monitor the Facebook groups just to make sure that people can get in, and we'll admit a few more people. Nothing like being on time, eh, Robert?
Let's see. So we have a question already from Mark Benson about, will this change mean we can't access to customers if they wanted their own cPanels? Well, that's from last week, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's August 12th. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just ignore that.
Yep.
It's all good. So I will check that we are live in our groups. I hope we are. Is it showing that we're live anywhere yet?
I see the tag for it, but I don't see us live in it.
That's technology, isn't it? It's like let's check let's see if we're live in the inner circle. That's all. We're live. We are live in the inner circle. So that's a good start. And I'll just check the other one. Some reason it's saying we're not live in the other one at the minute, but if not, never mind. Let's just do just check show all. There should be that one down there that's not live. So where's it to? Magic theme. We're live. We are live. Right, we should be going live now as well in any minute now inside of the free group, and we should be pretty much live everywhere now, so we can start the training. Okay. Are you all ready for it, Robert?
Let's do this. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Was everybody? No. Everybody that's on tonight was not here for week one. I assume because I see some new names.
Yeah, not everyone, but I'm hoping people would have seen the replays at some point. And we're going to leave these replays for the time being in the Facebook groups, and also we'll be adding it to our members area as well. So as we go along. So I'm going to get onto the right page for what I need to be sharing. I think it's that one there. Yeah. Let's just separate that. Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for coming on to the live call tonight. We will try and keep an eye out, Robert, for anyone else joining. And if you're watching on one of the channels, you can come over to our training, and the link, which we have put in the description, is dfymagicthemes.com/DFY free training. So that's how you can get to us. Let me share my screen.
And also, isn't that where you register as well for the next calls?
It will be after. It will be after this call. I'll forward it to the right registration point. So at the moment, this brings people in live, and then we'll make sure it's available straight after the call.
Okay. So what did you miss? What did you miss week one if you weren't here, and you're coming into week two? You want to recap a little bit, Stephen, so that we're all up to speed?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we did the standard install of WordPress. We showed in the cPanel control panel how to set up an email address, and we went over the install of WordPress, and then we came in here. We installed WordFence, And I think that might see what other plugins I put in. And a WP Vivid was the second one, which he showed you how to do a backup of your site. So everything's in. What's cool about WP Vivid that I didn't say last week is the fact that when you've done a build that you like, top to bottom, and you're happy with everything on it, what you can simply do is do a backup of your site. And then you can, when you do a fresh WordPress install, you can go, okay, well, I like this layout. I like what I've done. I like the plugins I've got. And then you can install WP Vivid on a blank version of WordPress and restore the blank copy of WordPress with all your plugins and stuff and all your regular stuff you like to use built in. So, so that's just an extra little tip there for those people that are following us. And we're going to go down the main dashboard tonight for those that don't really understand everything that's in here. So you always got your main dashboard icon here, and we can always come back to this home screen as you work down, and you got your updates, and in here all your updates will show up, whether it's an update of WordPress itself or your plugins or themes need to be updated. Really, really important. If you have a website that is out of date with the plugins and themes, what you'll find will happen is it can become a security issue. And some hosting providers now are locking down their hosting so that if you've got a site that's got plugins that are way out of date, let's say a couple of years old, you may find your site is locked because it flags as a security risk. So always try to update your plugins and themes across all your sites. I recommend before you do any updates to do a backup of your site as it is, because sometimes updates will crash your website. And then come in here, do your plugin updates and then your theme updates. And if it asks for a WordPress update, I'd recommend you do your plugins and themes first, then do WordPress, right? And then any other plugins and themes after that may need to be updated again. Do it in those stages, and you'll soon tell, because if you've done an update on plugins and the site crashes, well, you know you've got a problem with your plugins. If it's a theme update and the site crashes, you know it's a problem with the theme, and you can always do a fresh install of WordPress and roll back your site because you would have downloaded a copy of the site beforehand before anything else.
Okay, so for people that have no idea what we're talking about and that are just getting started with WordPress, can we look at the basics so that we can just give some definitions and what they're looking for as looking at on the WordPress dashboard? Because we want to make sure that if you're starting brand new, you understand what you have and what you're going to go through, and then we're going to continue from there. So
for those who are following before as well, to get to your WordPress admin, it's yourdomainname.com or .co.uk, whatever the domain name is, /WP-admin is how you get to log in. And then I've just gone over the standard dashboard. There's not a lot on the dashboard, to be honest. It'll show you recent post activity, and you can just send that to spam or trash. So I think, well, I don't trust them, I'll mark it as spam. That's some sort of thing I don't fancy having on my site. When you mark these as spam as well, it does actually tell the internet that this person is a person using your site for spam. And the reason I know these are spam is because this is a brand new site that I only put up a week ago. Why am I getting comments already on here? So WordFence installed will show who's been visiting your sites and how many sites have been blocked. Because sometimes, like this IP address here, may be like a spam server or something trying to hit your site, and so it'll say block count all the way down there. Top 5 countries blocked, and then it'll show various bits and pieces on usernames and that. We've got news and events from WordPress. I don't bother reading these, to be honest. And you can do a quick draft post as well to your site. So on here, we could just do I am busy, save it as a draft, and I'm sure, if I remember right, it should have come in. There it is. We can preview this now. and hello, I am busy. So from your dashboard itself, you can actually do a pre-draft message to go into posts if you like it. And I know as well with this, you can actually, I think you can reorganize your dashboard as well by dragging things around while you'd ever want to mess around. I don't do much on this, to be honest, but it's entirely up to yourselves how you use this yourselves.
There, it goes to show right there. You don't know what you don't know. I never knew you could change that.
Yeah, you can swap the orders round. You can say, I want to at a glance, how many posts have I got? How many pages have I got? How many comments have I got? I'll put my comment box there next. Site health is here, and we will go over site health a bit more as well to show you on that during the training, and then like WordPress events and activity. So you can sort of swap this around and have a little play, you know. So so that's how that works. Working down the menu, we have posts, media and pages, comments, appearance, plugins, your user accounts, various tools, some which people will use, some that people won't. That's a bit more advanced, really. Your settings, obviously WordPress, WP Vivid. And we're going to start off talking about posts and really the difference between posts and pages. A post on a WordPress website is really just comes down to you're putting up information that's telling the internet that you're updating your site. It's basically a bit like, you know, running a blog, but on WordPress. And you can schedule your posts as well. So we can edit this hello one, and I can come over to here and I can say I want it private, password protected. So you know, so only certain people can get to that post. And I can say I want to schedule this here. I want to go out in September, and I want to go on the 1st of September, and it can be 9:17 p.m. or a.m. And that's now scheduled to actually go live on that date once I click schedule at the top here.
So what's interesting there, Stephen, is now when you start incorporating other tools and other things that are going to trigger off of your posts and your post schedules, it becomes a new game changer for how you can use the scheduling option. Because, you know, we're working on a tool called the DFY Magic Ranker that takes a post, and that post is the triggers, hits the trigger site, and when it goes live, it goes through the backlinking system. So scheduling posts becomes very important because the system is looking for new posts on certain days every week. And if it sees something, it'll post it. If it doesn't see something, it won't. So scheduling features means that you can take your time, you can get however many you want to get done. If you want to get a month worth, 6 months worth, a year's worth of posts set up for your website. So you only have to go back and make sure they got posted, you know, just to double check. But that frees you up, because doing one thing every week is harder than doing like 10 posts in one sitting, get them all done, and they're good for 3 to 6 months.
Absolutely. And you know, the thing is as well, I schedule on some of my sites. I would take like an hour out to create 6, 7, 8 posts and schedule them one a month initially. So I've got a year's worth, and then I come back to that same site and I do a second lot to go that brings up to 2 a month, and eventually I build up to 4 blog posts a month over 12 months. When I get halfway through, I come back to blog post number 1 and I copy it and rewrite it and reschedule it to go out again at a later date. And
brilliant.
You know, so you only need, you know, 1 post a week. So initially to start with, so that's 4 posts a month over a year. And then when you get to the end of the 12-month period, you come back to, you can be reusing the first lot again, but spin it, change the titles and extend it. I've done, one of my sites has now got probably 3 years worth of content, and most of the content's the same 12 months worth of content each time. It's just respun and reused. And once you get up to a couple of years worth or 3 years worth, you can just set and forget it then. Make a note in a diary somewhere to revisit it. And you can pop in every so often and put some more posts in yourself as well. So you can keep expanding. But when it comes to posting, people panic too much. And I say, just take an action, get one a week up initially, one a week. You know, that's four posts initially, and then you can extend those to, you know, over a year. And we live in a world of AI technology. Some of it's not very good, but you know, you can soon come up with an idea by putting a headline in to do with your niche in an AI content creator. You know, and then just tweak it a bit. Never leave AI content as it is. Tweak it, play around with it a bit, put some of your own words in, because Google's getting smart to AI technology anyway. And I think in the future it'll be able to tell. So put your own little personal touch into the messages, into the posts.
And if you start noticing that there's certain content that your site starts ranking for better, and say it's not quite at page 1 yet or something, it's 2 or 3 or 4, write more content about that keyword and put it into a post and into a page, so that you can go after the keywords that are more favored by Google already for your site. Because that's part of the Google algorithm. We can put up identical sites in 2 different locations, and one site will have certain keywords that rank better than others.
Yeah. So
it's really, we can't say how Google is going to like one site or not. That's why we always say build 3 to 5 sites to start with, and then see which one is going to do better for you, and then spend your time on that one.
Working our way down, we've got a section called categories, and this is really important. Having uncategorized doesn't help your SEO, and so why do I always edit this first one, right? And let's just say that I'm doing a gardening site, right? I would do something like landscape gardeners. Now, for those that have Magic Page plugin or something similar, I've tested X fields inside here and they don't work. So just put something normal in, you know, like the slug can be LANDSC escape -GAR. I put a dash in because then it makes the URL friendly as well. And if you want a description to remind you what it is, you're quite welcome to put one in. It doesn't make any difference for the SEO. And then we'll click update. Now I can come back to all posts, and instantly the uncategorized ones are now got a category. If you're going to do more than one subject, then create a new one. Let's just say, for example, trees as an example.
It's also a great idea to make your categories keyword rich.
Yeah. So then when I create a new, create more posts, so I do a new post, right? I can come into here and we can create the post. Let's just let this finish loading. And under categories here, I can now tick which one I want it under. So I want a post under trees, and so I'll put a nice blog post all the way in here, and I'll make sure it's under the right category. I like to add a featured image because it gets found on Google, and then we can set this to a later date. So I can come to October the 1st and schedule it. And now in October the 1st, this post will go live. Obviously, I'm not going to leave these posts to go live because these are just demos, but you'd spend a bit more time creating it. And so as you create more categories for your posts and different subjects, you'll find gradually that these keywords will get found. So it'll be in the category trees, and it'll be something about, you know, how to trim your tree down without getting into trouble for cutting the entire thing down or something like that. You know, you can do a post on how to tell if the tree's dying or not or something, you know. And landscape gardens, it's quite a broad area. You can niche down again within it. You know, plumbers is a good example as well, where you could do bathroom remodeling as a category. You could do fix it, you know, how to category. You can do all sorts of categories on those as you work your way through. So we've shown categories. Media itself is where you're going to have all your media items. You can actually upload videos to WordPress, but I would say it's better to have them on YouTube, because you get that backlink you get that link going to YouTube and coming back.
Right.
So, but you just simply add a new media library, new media item, and you can either drag them in, or we can select a file, and we can pick the DFY icon that's there, and there's the WordPress training one. And at this point, this is all added. The only key thing is come in here, and we would put something relevant to the text. So DFY WordPress training, and we can make the title the same, change that, and have a caption. And I would spend a bit more time on some of these. You can keyword up some of this to make it even better. And I'd put a long description in here about how we're doing training on WordPress, etc., etc. And then when all that's done, click down, it'll auto save. And now we can come back to any post or page and edit it. And we can click plus, image, media library. Did it save my media library? That's because I'm on the wrong tab. Here we go. And select it and select, and it inserts it straight in for you. So, and then just hit schedule again to leave that scheduled. So, and that media library part works the same in Pages, which is what we're going to explain next. Pages are your physical pages on a website. So they are where you're going to be adding content-rich information. And in here, we can add a new page, and we can add a title on here. So we can go DFY WordPress. Now, something that people don't always realize on here is we can change the permalink, the slug. So at the moment, it would go to probably DFY-WordPress. It'll be yoursite.com/DFY-WordPress. So I can change this, and I say, actually, I just want it to be one word. So now the URL is going to be DFY WordPress, or I can make it whatever I prefer it to be. And then in here, we'll add a paragraph, and we just type, welcome. We publish the page, and we can then view the page to see how it's come out on the site. And that, obviously, you'd spend a lot more time building your page up. If you look at the top here now, this is /DFY WordPress. We come back to the blog, we can look at the post URLs by previewing or view. Actually, let's view the Hello World one, and you can see that's just /hello-world. So I think we can we preview this? I'd have to make one of these live. So let's we can do that in a bit.
Little side note on that Hello World post that comes with WordPress. That's one of the first things that the spammers are looking for. Yeah, come after your sites. So change that, edit that, just
trash it. That's what I say.
Yeah, and put another post in.
Yeah. So this is where we build the home page, the About Us page, any services pages, contact us page, etc. Sample page, again, we want to trash that as well. Get rid of it, because that's the most common thing that will be found on the site. That's what they search for. And comments are where the comments will come in on the site. When someone comments on a post or a page on your site, it will come in, more so posts than pages. It depends how you have your system set up. And I always have them set up in the system to be approved by me. That way, then, if it's a spammy link, it doesn't get out on the site. Coming down to appearance, now with the new theme, 2022 theme, all these menus have disappeared, right? And to change a lot of things, you have to come into settings in general. If you're more old hat like I am, and I prefer the old way, this is what you can do to get all the original links back under here. Activate any other theme, and now you've got theme, customized widgets, menus, background, and theme file editor. I haven't yet been able to find where to update the menus on the new 2022 theme. I admittedly haven't had the time to look over it, so I switched back to one of these. Just a little tip for everyone. Whatever theme you're working with, leave one theme in spare, right? So let's say I want to get rid of this one. We're going to delete it completely and click OK. Leave one in, because if you have a problem with your theme and it crashes, but you can still get to the dashboard, which normally you can, right? You can activate this theme here and then check the site over and go, okay, what's going on with it? That theme's working. Must have been an update. The theme's broke. What am I going to do? Rebuild my site or work out a way of fixing it. So, and even under the site health tab, which is under tools and site health, it recommends leaving one extra theme in. All right, all other themes clear out. Reason for that is it saves you having to update them. So if you've got 10 themes in here, go into them and hit delete. Obviously, I'm leaving this one into spare theme, but you would come in and remove them all. So you've got one theme at least like 2021 in here and your own theme in there. So customize. We'll work our way through customize. So on here we got site identity. This is where you label your site. So if it was a gardener site, and a tagline would be, we are the best in the local area. I should be adding there, plus we don't like to boast. So we've got those in there. You can set your logo up, and we'll show you this logo. If you look up here at the minute, there's no little icon up here on the tabs, right? If I do select, I'll hit crop the image, and now we hit publish. And if I've got the right place on this, we should.
Are you trying to get the image into the tab?
Yeah, I may have gone into the wrong place because there's another place in there.
It's actually the favicon, they call it.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. So there's two places. There's the logo of your site, and then down here. And that, I always miss that as well. Is your favicon of the site, which is down here, and you can crop the image down, and it will then show up at the top. Be a nice little icon up here on your page rather than the default one. And then you'd hit publish, and then we'd come back. Colors in here are global colors of your site, depending on your theme. Like here, you can see you got that color there. If I come in here now and pick purple, the whole site changes purple. If I want the header to now be blue, the whole thing becomes blue. I think it looks a bit too bright in my opinion, so we'll leave it like that. And then you'd hit publish. So it's a great way of if you use global colors across your site, you can very quickly change them to, so when you clone the site over, you can make it look completely different. And we'll come back now. Theme options. So we can show header in, show search in header. So I can untick that and it's gone. Every theme will be different, by the way. So this may show differently on your own themes. But on the standard default theme we're using, we've got a little search bar up there. If I don't want it on there, I can remove it. If I don't want to show the author to do with posts and pages, I can untick that as well, and that will remove the author. And then on archive pages, show full text or summary. So when you get to your archive pages, that can be changed. And then in here as well, what I love about all WordPress versions is we can edit any section of this. So I can hit the little pencil there, click got it, and I can replace the content on the standard area here by coming in here and changing it whatever I want it to be. Let's come back, and then down here we should, on some themes you can edit the footer and the header inside them. So we're now going to head our way down. We got cover templates, the settings for the cover template. You can add the feature image to the background. So let's have a play around with this. On my themes, I don't normally change this. So background color, it's the default background color normally on there. Text overlay. Let's see if any of this changes when we publish the site. So background image. So if we want the whole background to be this image you can see now, we've got a background image either side of the content. And I'll remove that. I don't like the look of that. Menus. We can view all the menus, and in this case, I haven't created a menu yet. And we'll go in the other way also to show you where the menus are. But you can come into here and actually create a menu in the first place: a desktop, extended menu, mobile menu, footer menu, and a separate social menu as well. We'll come back to us in a minute, so I'll show you where that is on the main dashboard. Widgets. So we can, once again, this is the footer section here, and we can do different widgets if we want to add things in here. For an example, I could put a heading in here as well and edit this heading. Hello, and I've now got this within this footer area here. Come back again. Footer 2, by the way, in widgets would be normally a copyright type thing, somewhere near the bottom. I'm just trying to see where I can see it on here. On our Cadence themes, it's normally the footer bit. I can't see it on this particular free theme. Homepage settings. So you can now say, I want it to be all my latest posts only. That's will show up on the front page. Or I can do a static page. And we can select now, this is the welcome front page that I built. And a static post would come in also post page. In this case, we haven't got a post page set up. So we'll leave it on this. That would be probably your home page that you'd select. Oh, came out the wrong place now. Customize. Additional CSS is where some themes need extra code, but you have to learn about that. There's a bit involved where you may put a plugin in and it says you need to add CSS to your theme, and you'd come in here and add that in there. But that's more advanced content for this build. I'm just going to come back now, and in here we've got now we've got under appearance, and we've got menus, and this is where we can now create a menu. So we can label this, whatever you want to call it, main menu. We're going to create the menu. And then you can find your pages in here. Most recent will list here. You can view all your pages, or you can search for a page if you know the name of it. And then we can add this to the menu. I tick it, add to menu. Same with posts. Now, I haven't got any live posts at the moment. If you want to add a post to a menu, you could do it. And also custom links. So for an example, you wanted to go to Google, you'd put the URL in here and you'd label it as. Now, little tip for you. If you haven't got the URL at first, put a hashtag in there. Now on my keyboard, I always lose the hashtags, Robert. I'm just looking for it now. If you can't find a hashtag on your keyboard, right? Hash.
It's usually Control-3.
Yeah,
Shift 3. But you're on a Mac.
I'm on a Mac, so I always struggle to find it. And so I can search on here and see if there's one. So if you're ever stuck, just copy it, come back over, and you can put it in there. What the hashtag does is it still allows you to add it to the menu, but when anyone goes to that link, if we save the menu now, when you click on that link, it just doesn't go anywhere, and we show that in a minute. But I also want to show you about creating another menu. If you, let's say you wanted a footer menu, you label it footer, create menu, and on your footer menu, you may still have like the home page on it, but you'd have like privacy pages and maybe a contact us page on the footer. You'd have less on the menu. So when we come back to the customized part up here, and we come to menus now, right, and we view all locations, I can now say I want the main menu at the top. I'm not going to use that. Mobile menu, we will use main menu as well for now. Footer menu, I want footer. And social menu I haven't set up yet, but we'll just click here. So now I've got my menu up here, and also there should be a menu appearing down somewhere lower down, but this is a basic WordPress theme, so it looks like he hasn't added it.
So can I just pause you there for a second, Stephen?
Yeah.
The question is, where will the menus show up?
So do you mean on your page?
Yeah, when you're picking a menu.
So the head of the main menu up here will show up here. Expanded menu. If we go main menu here, it'll show up here. Look on. Can you see this is the little expanded menu?
Mm-hmm.
So this is more, the expanded menu is more when you drop down to a smaller size screen.
So the main menu is usually the top of the website.
Yeah.
The footer is normally the bottom, and that's usually the most of what you're going to do. But you can definitely, the point of it is you can hide different pages. You can stack them so they don't show all the time until you hover above them or hover on them. And that's in setting up of your menus of your personal sites, how you want them to look and feel. So if you want to have 20 pages on labels on your header menu, then you have to set them up in a way that it still looks nice.
So in the header section, if you pick the horizontal menu on here, and we go main menu, that's the menu that will show up here. On the expanded menu, if I wanted this expanded menu only, then I wouldn't have anything in here, and it would only show the expanded menu on your site. If I swap them around, I go main menu and none, then it only has this version of the menu here. All right. There are themes that can do far more with menus than this. We have showed the very basics of WordPress on here. The footer menu should show up on the footer, and we will check that on a page when we load normally. And then the social menu, if I hit edit on here, the social menus, we should be able to click next. Oh, how we going to label it? And now we've got a social menu added, and add items on your social menu. Now on a lot of themes, they have the social icons automatically. This theme doesn't. So I will just do this at the moment and hit publish. And then we'll go and view the site in a minute. This is a very basic theme, so it may not always show everything up on here anyway. When we get into advanced training with what we use, you'll see a better looking menu option.
You also, there's a question, but we're going to cover it later. How to do drop downs. You got to have multiple pages, and we don't have them on this build. We just want to get through the general basic settings first, and as we go forward in our builds, we'll be able to do more of the things that you want to see. Yeah,
I've already covered the background. Theme file editor, you don't have to worry about. It's if you're more advanced and you're like a developer, you'd go in here and edit the actual theme. In this case, as the end user, you wouldn't need to touch it. Then obviously we've got plugins, and these are the ones I've already installed, and there's tons of plugins in the WordPress repo.
Let's go back to what is a plugin.
Yeah. Do you want to take that one, Robert?
Sure. A plugin is a file that you can install on your WordPress site, and it'll do certain functions. And there's a thing called the plugin repo, which is a bunch of free installs of WordPress plugins. And they have different features that come with individual plugins. Now, that's a great thing, but when you start installing a lot of plugins, it's going to slow your site down because it's trying to do all these different functions. And a bigger possibility comes in that one plugin will conflict with another, causing you a lot of grief to try to figure out what happened and why your site's not working correctly. But there are certain ones like WordFence. That's a security plugin that comes from the repo. All you have to do is search for it, find it, install it, and activate it. So that's what you can do with the different plugins. They have all kinds of, I mean, literally thousands of plugins that you can use on your WordPress site.
Yeah. Sarah's sent me a direct message saying, can you go over the difference between a widget and a plugin? So a plugin is like a piece of software that can do different things for your site. A widget is what ends up on your main site. If we open this in a new tab, this is a widget on your site, all right? And you can have side ones and top ones and all sorts of ones depending on the theme. But a plugin is something that can help you do more with your site. You know, we can, you know, for an example, we can go in here and let's have a think of what I might want to do. Like Jetpack links you up with WordPress.com, various stuff. One of my other favorite ones, I'm just trying to remember the name of it now.
One of my favorite ones is just putting them under construction when you're just getting started.
Main WP, which is you have to read up on how to use it, but it's a sort of a plugin that you can put all together your sites accordingly, and you can see all your sites under one dashboard. But that's something else to come back to on later training. But let's search for under construction. Which one do you? Oh, it came up then. Which one do you use the most, Robert?
The one on top left.
That one, the very first one.
Yeah, just the easy one.
So this is useful where you just built a site and you want to put it under construction. And so I've just clicked install and I'm going to activate the plugin. We'll dismiss that for a second. And so we should now have under settings, tab under construction. And there's a little get you started video or in-depth walkthrough video. We'll dismiss that.
Just go to design and you pick one. They have some that are free and some that are pro.
So
like the Mad Designer one is free.
That one there, I see. Yeah, so that's your free Mad Designer one. So we can activate the Mad Designer one. It says preview. It's already selected, that's why.
Yeah.
And there's loads on here, as you can see. So we come back to main, switch it on.
Mm-hmm.
Then anything else we need, we can prevent search engines from indexing it temporarily. That might be worth doing. Oh, you have to pay for that then.
Oh, that's where the things are. But
yeah.
At the end of the day, you can be under construction. You can log into your WordPress dashboard and you can work on your site. Nothing changes. You're going to see your pages. You're going to see what it looks like. But if anybody else goes to your URL, it's going to show them the under construction page until you turn it off.
Yeah. So right now, as I'm logged in, I see our site we're working on. If I come into an incognito window and go to the same thing, oh, sorry, we're doing some work on the site. So it's a useful little plugin to have if you haven't got anything to put up on your domain name. Quick tip as well with WordPress. There are some hosts out there that automatically install WordPress for you. What does that mean? Well, you add your domain name to the host and it says WordPress is installed and you forget to go and check it. You forget to go to the main URL. And what happens then is it's got a nice box up saying install WordPress as per how we showed you in week 1. If you leave that someone will find it and someone will create an account on it themselves. I think a common one is this site's been hacked by Mr. Green is what comes up a lot. And the only reason the site's been hacked is either your username and password aren't secure because someone's done admin and password as password. That's the first reason. Or the second reason behind the issue, right, is because you've installed WordPress, but you haven't gone to the main domain name to see if WordPress needs fully installing. So anytime you install WordPress, go to your main domain name and have a look. All right. So, and once again with plugins, make sure you keep them up to date. Any warnings of anything out of date will be up on your dashboard icon here, and this will be highlighted. You hit updates, and like I showed you earlier on, you can update them accordingly.
Fitz mentioned that same thing in the chat, and it's, you know, the longer you let plugins be non-updated, they're being updated for different reasons, not only functionality but also security risks. Yeah.
I think Sarah's getting a bit confused because she said one was for classic widgets. I think you mean classic editor. And WordPress is gradually moving away from the classic editor idea. They're trying to get very much more on a graphical interface for editing, a bit like Elementor or Divi. Their own version is now Gutenberg. It's all built in and it's lightning fast. So, but some themes do need under plugins the classic editor. Sometimes you need to reinstall that. Was there one called? Oh, apparently Sarah's saying to me there was one called Classic Widgets. Unless you're talking about that one there. Oh, there, Classic Widgets. Let's have a look and read it then, shall we? Enables previous Classic Widgets setting screen in appearance, customized, disables the block editor for managing widgets. So that'll turn it back to, so it's more if you're used to the old ways of things with WordPress, enable classic editor on and classic widgets. But we're going to go into in future weeks more advanced stuff with the themes we use, and anyone who's a member of DFY Magic Themes will know what themes we use and what plugins we use as standard. A little tip with plugins, I will say, don't have too many. I went to a site one day where the guy had 35 plugins, and I think a friend of mine went to a site that had 89 plugins. Every time you add a plugin to your site, it will slow the site down because more resources are needed from the server. And unless you've got one of the most amazing servers in the world, that can cause a problem. Also, a lot of hosting providers, shared hosting providers, will restrict you after you get, if your site gets too large, they'll send you a message going, sorry, the site's too large. This is not fair use policy. Please shrink your site down. So I would say the most plugins I've had on the site was 6 or 7. But to be honest, you know, when you only need you only need a security plugin in here, first of all, a backup plugin. And then if you've got a good editor like we use, then you'd have a plugin for that. But try and keep it up well under 10. That's the maximum I would go up to on a site at the very, very most. And ideally closer to 5, because it keeps your site super fast.
You know, I'm going to go back on this conversation a little bit. The reality is, you got to look at when you go to build a website, what are you building the website for? What is the main function of the website? And this is a tough conversation for a lot of people, because people that don't understand websites think that they're going to put a website online. It's going to do everything they want it to do. It's going to sing to them at night, and it's going to cost them $25 for you to build this if you're a website builder, and it's supposed to do all these things. Plus, they're supposed to get 1,000 customers a day to their website to buy their stuff.
Yeah.
The reality is, you got to come back to what is the main purpose of the website? Is it a lead gen website? Are you selling widgets on the website? Are you giving information? Is it a business card online type of website where it's just, you know, meant to be found when they search for the domain name of the website? There's so many nuances to the conversation of what is the website going to do? And you have to be ready for those conversations. And what we do in Done for Magic Themes is strictly lead gen and rental sites, rank and rent sites. But at the end of the day, that's their purpose, is for a customer to find something in a local area, then call the number or fill in the opt-in form. That's what all we're trying to do. And at the same time, we're always doing the SEO on the background of on page and off page to help the sites rank. So all of those questions come up, and we're going to cover more and more of this. This is actually a great prelude to why we use Cadence, because it's such an easier way to build. But at the end of the day, we're using Cadence because it's more friendly for us to build, and Google likes it because the speed, and it's just not clunky. And that's where the whole thing comes together. So we're showing the basics of WordPress, because you got to know where you're starting, and then you have to look at when you're going to go from there. There's hundreds of different ways to build websites after you loaded in WordPress.
Absolutely. And so moving on, by the way, just a reminder, keep all your plugins up to date so they don't become a security issue. Week 1, we went over users and various users, so we don't need to go over that. Tools in here, you can import and export your own website using import and export. I won't really go into it right now because there's more to it to go through that. And to be honest, if you're using WP Vivid Backup, you can export your site using that rather than this. But under tools is your site health little tab there. And on here, this tells me any issues my site may have and what I should be doing to improve it. So one or more recommended modules are missing. Let's have a look and see what it's recommending. PHP modules on the server. So I can contact my admin and say, hello, file info is disabled. This is for anyone who's on our hosting, by the way, and that everyone's fully aware who is on our hosting, we are transferring to our own servers, and things like this will be automatically enabled. It's one of the frustrations we're on a platform before where the resources were shared, and it's pretty fast as it was, but they've done some updates recently, including some of these things here, which I keep going back to them and saying, no, this needs to be enabled site-wide. On the new server, which should complete by the end of Monday, I've been told, they've had an awful lot of accounts to move over. So by the end of Monday, this should be completed. And our own server will handle this automatically, which is going to be great. For an example, down here, it says the post size value is smaller than the upload value. So we click on here, and this is inside the control panel. And little things like this, we'll try and get our guys to pre-set up to save you whine about this sort of thing within your WordPress. But I'm showing you this because a lot of shared hosts will block things like this, and you'll ask them to allow it, and they don't, and it becomes a problem.
So just because we have to always be the devil's advocate here, shared hosting versus non-shared hosting. Yep. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. When you are setting up or signing up for hosting, and it's shared hosting, the hosting company can put as many different websites they want on that server, and they call it shared hosting. They tend to try to make it cheaper and more affordable. But at the end of the day, the server can only do so many functions.
Yeah.
And if your site is on with 10 more sites that are very active, then they're going to use up more of the bandwidth of that server. So all the websites on that particular server of the shared hosting all are pulling the resources from it. So when you go to your own server, then you are in control and you're not sharing with all these other sites.
No, that's right. Our current provider, we had a semi-shared network. So we had our own resources within our own little bubble. But once again, I was learning very fast that when they did some updates, it caused us issues. And that's why we're now going to our own pure server on a network to make sure everything's all good, and then we don't have to do any more changes or updates ourselves. Moving down, you've got the settings tab. And we went through this briefly, but in the settings tab as well, you can get to site title, the tagline. This bit here is really important. Check your site. If you've got free SSL with your host and you've got and it's unlocked, right? But they say the SSL is all good. Come in here, make sure you've got HTTPS on the website URL and the site address. Both of these need to be HTTPS for it to be secure and the padlock working. People will install like really simple SSL plugin, and you don't need it if you've got free SSL already and you've updated this. On there, the site's not secure, and by the site not being secure, Google will put a big banner up now going, this site's not secure. You may not proceed, or you have to click a little advanced thing and say continue at your own risk. And the security of the site is important, because between you and that website, someone in the middle could get data of yours. For an example, let's say you went to an e-commerce site to buy something, and let's say it's Amazon, for an example. You went there and their site wasn't secure. You go in, you enter your credit card details. Someone else somewhere on the web can see those credit card details. So that's why this is important. It's the data encryption between you and the website.
And not only that, it's a website ranking portion in the algorithm. If you're not a secure website, they're going to penalize you, Google, as far as your ranking goes.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you have a hosting provider. I used to get so angry about that because I didn't know all these differences. And then I'd go out and try to buy SSL certificates, and I were paying money for them when other hosting providers like us provided it for free.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, it always comes back to, you don't know what you don't know. But I'll tell you what, it starts adding up when you're paying for these things for every domain name that you have. But if you don't know and you keep paying for things that you shouldn't. So it's important that you get into the know, so to speak, with people that you know, like, and trust in this industry. Because if they're just trying to sell you things all day long, then that's going to be another upsell, and you're going to keep paying.
Absolutely. I'm just keeping on any messages on our Facebook, just in case anyone put a message up. Just to say, guys, if you're watching on Facebook and you want to ask questions, come into the Zoom call, because we got so many channels we go out on, we can't always monitor them all. And the link's in the description of the video as well. So, administrator email, you can change this, and when you change this, it sends an email to that new email address saying please confirm. Membership is really more for membership sites, but it also brings people in under the user tab as they sign up. I don't allow anyone to register on mine. I leave new roles as subscribe automatically. But let's say you want it always to be administrator. You can set this and save this. So every time you create a new user, it's always administrator. I put to leave on subscribe in case I make a mistake. You've got your time zone, language, which, by the way, there isn't. I don't think there's in English UK. When you first set it up, it doesn't show. So that's good. They've added that in there. And date format, time format, and what day does your week start on? And so that's the general settings, and you've got writing settings that you can come in here and play around. And you can also, by the way, with this, post via email. If you link this up to your mail server, so in other words, just entering your outgoing email settings in here, right? You can post by emailing to an address, right? It's very clever how you can do it. And if you read on here, it tells you how to set it all up accordingly. I prefer to log in myself and do it rather than have something like this available.
Right.
You know, but some people like the feature. Reading, we can say on your home page displays the latest post or a static page. This is the settings again. In fact, these are the settings that we did for appearance and customize, being in a different location. How many posts you want to show at a time, how many syndication feeds, and full text, excerpt, etc., etc. Search engine filler. This is a good one, actually. Sometimes people go, my site's not being found on the internet. So come into reading and make sure search engine visibility, right, is unticked. That's a common thing. I knew of a developer once who used to build sites for people and have that ticked until he got paid. And some people who didn't pay wouldn't tell them the site would never get indexed. So useful little thing to know there. We can come into discussions. This is a part I do like to play around with. So attempt to notify any blog links to and from the post. I'll untick these because I don't like getting notifications myself. And allow people to submit comments on new posts. You only have this on if you want people to be able to submit stuff. Or comment author must fill out their name and email. Users must be registered. I always tick that. Automatically close comments older than so many days. I lower that down to about 5 days anyway. Show comment cookie opt-in checkbox. Enable thread nested, and we got break comments into pages. So if you end up with tons and tons of comments, you can break it down to separate pages, and you can display whether older or newer. Email me whenever anyone posts a comment. If you disable people from being able to comment, right, untick it anyway, because it gets annoying when you get all these emails coming every 2 minutes. Comment held is always have them held for moderation in case someone gets past. I always have them must be approved manually, and comment author must have previous approved comment. So when you approve somebody, they can post again anyway. And then really down here, you can have avatars linked to WordPress .com via Jetpack. I don't use these bits myself. It's entirely up to you. If you want like anyone who's registered with WordPress, you can have various icons and stuff like that. Also, maximum rating. If you're doing an adult site, right, you can actually set this down to what you want it to be. So you can say even more mature than above. So you can set it to X rated or everyone down at G. I know we've been going for a while, so I want to try and get through this as quickly as possible. Media thumbnail size. You can set the maximum size you want. Same with the medium one and the large sizes. You can actually set these widths to yourself. These are all the standard sizes that they do inside of WordPress. Permalinks. We always set us to post name, but you can play around with this and set it use if you like. On all our themes, we automatically set it to post name, otherwise it won't work properly. We'll come down to privacy, and in privacy you can generate your own privacy page automatically. So we can create a new privacy policy page, and we can select what one we want. It says it's already got a page there, so we can say use this page. If I wanted to create a new one, I could just hit create, and it will generate.
I think one comes with WordPress, but
yeah,
the legal pages are a whole conversation all by themselves.
Yeah, but this is great where you want to create a privacy page. You know, well, legal pages, like Robert said, you need to get legal advice on. A privacy page is exactly what it says. So we come back to WordPress, and obviously we've got under construction there. We've done WordPress already and WP Vivid, and that's the menus inside of WordPress.
So, I myself learn something every time you go through doing things like this. You don't know what you don't know. How many of you got something that you never realized in the back of WordPress tonight? Put a 1 in the chat.
Give them a moment or two.
And anybody that's watching a replay of this,
yeah,
we need to hear that out there. So Give us some feedback that
Yeah.
these are the things that are helping you, so that we know what to do. Also, questions. In the future, we're going to get into more of the actual building cadence. But if you don't know the basics of WordPress, it's hard to move forward
Yeah.
without having the basics at least set.
And next week's training, we're really going to get into Cadence, the theme, the plugin, and the bit I enjoy doing is start building something.
Right.
And so, when we started, I know we had more people in the room, and I know probably people have left because they know this stuff. And me and Robert said from day one, we want to go through the basics first before going into the advanced stuff. So next week we got the advanced stuff, guys, coming up. Super exciting to start getting into the themes we use, how they work, how to create menus, and we'll build on here a proper site.
We also know that it's Sunday evening. We're putting our time up for you guys, but at the end of the day, there's going to be replays for it, so that you can go back and see these things at your own leisure. And we'll probably end up breaking it up and putting it up on our YouTube channel, which is now on YouTube as DFY Magic Themes.
Yep, you can get to it by going to dfymagicthemes.com/DFY Tube. So, you can find it that way, or just search in YouTube for DFY Magic Themes.
Yeah, we actually have a channel name now.
Yeah,
so
go and find that channel and like it, follow it, subscribe to it, ring the bell, all the things you need to do. So, so it's awesome. Thank you, Fritz. I'm glad you're finding the training good. We said at the beginning, we don't want to be teaching people how to suck eggs, but like Robert
sometimes
said,
you have to.
you don't know what you don't know at the end of the day. So we went through the basics of WordPress, and we've had amazing of Magic Page plugin, and we had great feedback from that. And we're doing the basics of WordPress, moving on into the theme we use and why we love it so much, because of speed and how good it is. Cadence is absolutely brilliant, and the best part of Cadence is you can have the free version. You don't need the pro version to use it, and we're getting into that next week, which is the bit I enjoy doing. Rather than teach people to suck eggs, we can get into the nitty-gritty of building a site, putting content on, layouts, doing all that sort of stuff. So Don says, as expected, step-by-step instructions, very helpful. Thank you, Don. It's great feedback. And anybody who's willing to go into the Facebook groups and put comments below the where we've gone live, please do so. Does Cadence work? Absolutely. And do you know what? Do you know what I love? What I love, Fritz, about it is, in Elementor, you got to go into a setting and say, please enable Magic Page plugin. In Divi, you have to do the same. In Oxygen Page Builder, for those that have that, you've got to do a whole load of stuff to get it to work. And I did do a video on it in Mike's group about how to use it. And I've tested all these plugins, right? And they all cost money if you want the pro versions. And every single one of them, I've done tests, and they say, oh, we're the fastest, we're the best. They're not the fastest. I've got clients who are using Elementor still, and I'm trying to get them to move away. One of my clients switched from Elementor to Cadence. We then optimized their images, and their site shot up in speed to 89%, I think it was, on mobile, and 99 to 100% on desktop. And he couldn't believe it, just by converting over. Why is it so good? Because it's built with Gutenberg. Gutenberg is the very basic platform now of WordPress. And ask yourself this question. There are adverts going out at the moment where Elementor are saying, come and join us with Elementor Cloud. Elementor Cloud, so far to my knowledge, does not work with Magic Page plugin. Now, if someone wants to prove me wrong, please do, because I'll be very grateful if someone wants to put a comment up, mention my name on it, and prove me wrong on that. But I've been told by people that it doesn't work properly. And secondly, the reason they're moving on to Elementor Cloud is they want to get people off the WordPress platform. Why? Because WordPress have bought out Gutenberg. Gutenberg is free. Use Cadence blocks and Cadence theme with it. You've then got yourself a brilliant editor that doesn't load into any fancy graphical interface. How many people, right? And if you're watching the replay of this, put a comment below the videos on this, because this would be good to know. How many of you had that error of Elementor where you've gone to edit the page and it's come up and says this content can't be displayed? I have. And it doesn't tell you what the error is, for how to fix it, what to do. And sometimes you just can't fix it. And you have to take the page, recreate it. Don says, yeah. Cadence, I've never had that because it's built in Gutenberg to work with Gutenberg. There's no graphical rubbish. You go and edit a page, the page loads, you edit it, you play around with the layouts, and that's what we get into next week, which is super, super exciting.
Sarah, to answer your question, in Done For You Magic Themes, you don't worry about it. You just use the backup file.
Yeah.
If it's a different site, then you're going to load in WordPress and you're going to build in Cadence, which is what we're going to do in this training. But this training is not part of Done For You Magic Themes. It's just showing people the different way to build in WordPress and the basics of WordPress, because that's where you have to start.
Yeah.
There's just tens of thousands of people that don't even understand WordPress that want to learn, but they don't know where to go get the information and where to get started with it. And that's where we become defiers, and we're defying the way that you learn things, because we want to show it, and that way we can go forward with it.
Final piece of advice I give anyone who's building in WordPress or building a website: don't feel overwhelmed. Get yourself set up, buy a domain name, get hosting, get WordPress installed. All right. And once you've gone through those steps, build a homepage. Make it the best homepage about your subject you can, and a contact us page. And make that a nice page with plenty of content on how to contact us, phone numbers, whatever you want to do with that contact page. Save it. Get those 2 basic pages done. And then say to yourself, what other pages do I need in my niche? Am I doing an emergency 24-hour plumbing page? Am I doing a page about gardening and wildlife in the garden? You know, you add more and more pages as you go along. You don't rush a site. Take your time. And Fritz says content writing is the bear I hate writing. That's why with DFY Magic Themes, Fritz, all the content's written in hours. You just need Magic Page plugin, which, by the way, we have some deals in our members area for. And one of our themes, you load it, it's got all the content on, and you just go in and tweak it, make it better, add some posts, tweak it to your advantage. You know, we got people who have used like the plumber's theme and changed the wording to emergency plumber, or as our B man in our group does, he took one of our themes and totally converted it to become a B website.
We'll show you a build, and we'll show you Done For You Magic Themes in the future training. But for tonight, I think we've pushed our time limit.
Yeah,
so we need to pull it back a little bit and say thank you for attending, and all of you watching the replay. Put your comments out there on social media. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that when we put out training and information in YouTube that we don't put out on the lives. So make sure that you are keeping up with us on YouTube as well.
And just to say, guys, let me just go and get the link. So I've completely forgotten what the Magic Themes. Can't type tonight. Themes.com. Because there is the link which I put out tonight, I think is the same link, guys. I can't type. Let's get this right. Magicthemes.com. Right. And I will read out the link for the training. So it's DFY magicthemes.com/DFY free training, or one word. And what I will do, I will change that link to go to the Zoom registration page when we finish this call in a few minutes time. So if you're watching live now, guys, don't do it straight away, because it'll just bring you back to the log into the Zoom call, which won't happen because we will end the Zoom call. So give me a couple of minutes and I will update the link so that you can go and register anyone who's watching this. And next week, guys, is the excitement of using Cadence and the blocks, like we said, and start building a site on this domain name, which is going to be absolutely fantastic to do. And once we've done the build, then me and Robert are going to talk about maybe revisiting on doing some sort of recording for our members only. And if you want to be a member, go to dfymagicthemes.com/live4u. For our members only people, extra content will be me converting the site that we build to work with Magic Page plugin. So we'll show you some conversions and how we do that. And that'll be for members only as a bonus, because you are one of our fantastic members. So that's all tonight, isn't it, Robert?
Yeah, that's it. Sarah, reach out if you have problems. I'm telling you, just turn in a support ticket. We'll take care of you. We'll get you going.
And thank you, guys. We were running a little bit behind because we had some technical issues, which happens sometimes with Zoom and linking up to the interweb. And but we got there in the end, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next Sunday, 5 o'clock EST time.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon. You all have a great evening.
Brilliant.